1079.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. We will keep in mind and remember that you and I have the ability and the dignity and the right to make our own decisions and determine our own destiny.
This hour of the Neal Larson Show brought to you by Tailored to Painting. Quality residential and commercial painting and staining. Tailored to Painting, turning houses into homes.
Your world, your country, your community, and you. Let's talk about it now on The Neal Larson Show with co-host Julie Mason.
8:07 on News Talk 1079. It's a Friday. Good morning. I'm Neal Larson. Julie Mason. By the way, Julie Mason just saw the expression on my face that is the computer equivalent of "you've reached your bandwidth limit." So
my thing is that I haven't taken up the bandwidth.
I know it's not you. It isn't. That's all right. It's okay. So I was thinking, we have some very proud Democrats that attended Nampa's Oligarchy tour. Mm-hmm. And I just looked it up. Both Bernie and AOC are multimillionaires.
Yeah.
So they are going on the Oligarchy tour as, I don't know if I'd call them oligarchs, because I think typically oligarchs are worth like 20, 30 million. Mm-hmm. Bernie's probably worth more like 3 or 4 million. AOC's 1 or 2. But their trajectory is in a very oligarch direction. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll just say it that way.
They're much closer than you or I.
Yes, they are. They're closer to being oligarchs than the people they're talking to. Mm-hmm. And they're on an oligarch trajectory. How dumb do you have to be to show up to this rally and cheer them on and support them, warning about the oligarchy when they're on the path to oligarchy?
Yeah. I think that Democrats can justify just about anything at this point. They're okay doing the mental gymnastics that it takes to make this happen.
So there is a Idaho House and Senate Democrats. Okay. They had several people go on the Oligarchy tour, and I'm trying to find the post. Here it is. Last night, members of our Democratic Legislative Caucus stood alongside U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez during the Fight Oligarchy rally. The crowd was on fire, and this momentum is real. The Idaho House Minority Leader Ilana Rubel and Representatives Todd Achilles, Megan Egbert, Monica Church, and candidate Nate Roberts were proud to join this people-powered movement, demanding a government that puts working families first, not billionaires, not corporations, and definitely not political insiders. The fight for affordable housing, quality health care, strong public schools, and fair wages starts right here at home, and we're in it with you. Let's keep building this momentum. Together, we're shaping a future that works for all of us. My question is, in the wake of this, all right, bunch of blah, 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 right? Or is it blah, blah, blah?
You can have it whatever way you want.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there you go.
My question is, how irrelevant does the Democrat Party in Idaho want to become?
I don't know, because there wasn't a necessary, like, you didn't have to be at this rally. This was a choice.
Yeah.
If, say, we're in a presidential election year and your nominee, let's just kick back to 2024. Kamala Harris decided to show up here. You would feel obligated to go to that. Like, you would need to do this.
Yeah.
We are 3 years out from a presidential election. You are irrelevant in the state, and you go anyway? I don't know what the upside was for them.
I have no idea what the upside is. There's a picture of Nate Roberts. He's the one in Pocatello, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember that race. Did he lose to Burgoyne? Was that race? I think it was.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Okay, he's there. He's wearing his Idaho AFL-CIO shirt.
Okay.
And I don't think an alignment with Bernie Sanders and AOC gets you elected with Pocatello Democrats. They're blue collar. You've actually got to make concessions to Donald. Donald Trump is winning those people over. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that, look, I think there's celebrity status here. I think that people show up and, hey, it's Bernie, hey, it's AOC, whatever. But I feel like this is a stupid political move on their part. Mm-hmm. Like, the state of Idaho will never elect these people to represent them on a statewide basis.
Yeah. Okay, so what would be a potential upside? Because I don't think there is one. A potential upside could possibly be, this is how bad I hate Trump, that I'm going to support whatever is anti-Trump. And maybe there are some Democrats in Nate Roberts' district area that feel that way. I don't think there's very many.
I don't either. I think that now, again, I go back to maybe they're having the Jasmine Crockett's and, a couple of others out there to make the Bernies and the AOCs look more normal. That might be the purpose of Jasmine Crockett, is to make Bernie and AOC look... They're still socialists.
Yeah.
You don't get away from the fact that these are socialists, and you have Idaho Democrats showing up, big, huge smiles on their faces, excited to be there, supporting the message of socialists in Idaho. That is such a self-destructive look. I know you're happy. You're high on the intoxication that Bernie and AOC are here. This is rock solid, valuable ammunition in the toolbox of your future political opponents.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think they can even see past it. That's the problem here. Fox and Friends this morning cited a poll of who is the most popular female in the Democrat Party. You're not going to believe it, but Kamala Harris is still number one.
Okay.
She
maybe.
did not deliver for you at all.
Yet they still are drawn to.
Yes, and then AOC is number two, which is why they were talking about this, because AOC has bumped up the list and is now number two. For me, that poll isn't full of hope and we are a fresh, inviting new party. I don't think the Oligarch Tour is a fresh, inviting look.
Yeah.
I think it's, we don't have anybody, and these are our current scrubs.
Yeah.
And here's what we're putting forward.
So they bragged about 12,000 people, but I think that number's in question. Like, I think people are saying there weren't 12,000. Maybe half
9.
Of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever, let's not haggle over the numbers, because I don't think it really matters all that much to illustrate the point I'm about to make, which is, if you are one of the few Democrat, socialist loving Democrats in Idaho, you are going to find a way to get there. Mm-hmm. You are going to find a way. Meanwhile, within just a day or two, Charlie Kirk went to the Boise State campus. He drew a good-sized crowd. Like, I don't think it was this big, because it was under a canopy on an elevated stage.
Yeah, they were on like a quad.
Yeah, it wasn't inside an arena, and so it's hard to compare the apples and oranges thing here. Charlie Kirk probably got a fraction of 1% of the people that like Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. AOC and Bernie probably got 60 or 70% of the people that like AOC and Bernie. Like, they found a way to be there, because there's an exile mentality if you're a socialist Democrat in Idaho. Like, you're like, my people, they're here, let's gather. And so they make the pilgrimage to Nampa to see AOC and Bernie. Meanwhile, guess what we have coming through Idaho all the time? We just had Judge Janine up north. Mm-hmm. We've had Dinesh D'Souza. We've had Mike Johnson come through. We've had Marco Rubio was here not that long ago. we have our people coming through all the time. So there's not this built-up pressure, ooh, I got to go see my favorite conservative celebrity. This was destined to be well-attended, not because it's reflective in the same way of the level of support statewide that Bernie and AOC have, but because there are so few opportunities in Idaho to go see a bona fide socialist speak.
Yeah, it's a drowning party, and this was your oxygen.
Yes.
This was your way to take another breath. And I agree with you. I didn't go ahead and claim 12,000.
Whatever. It doesn't.
None of them, not you. First off, not all 12,000 were from Idaho. Okay, so when people in Idaho are like, see how strong we are? No, you have to actually bring in people from Idaho for me to even give it any acknowledgement. Then the next thing is, well, they have nothing else to do but go to this.
Yeah.
And so your numbers are going to be high. I didn't think this did anything. I actually don't think the Oligarchy tour is doing anything. I don't think it's helping the party at all.
You know what I would have loved? This would have been one of the primary reasons I would have gone to that Fight Oligarchy tour. I would have walked around and scanned the license plates of everyone in the parking lot. I bet you there were tons of Oregon and Washington plates there. Probably some people popping over from, maybe coming down from Missoula or whatever. I bet you these were not, there's probably a plurality Idaho crowd. I bet you it was not a majority Idaho crowd.
Right.
I bet you pulled a lot of people from elsewhere.
I also would like to know, were there buses in the parking lot? Were we busing people in for this as well?
That's a good point,
I'd love
too.
to know that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't love to know it enough to leverage any effort into it.
No, that's true. You're right.
I just don't think this even moved the needle at all.
If I had loads of time and your bandwidth is exceeded face wasn't showing all the time,
which is still there right now,
right?
By the way.
I know, yeah, it is. Then I might have gone over just to be entertained, because my follow up, and I don't mean this nearly as snarky as it's going to sound, but if there's this much enthusiasm and support, why do you do so shizzy at the ballot box statewide?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question.
Why are you a completely irrelevant and failed party in Idaho if you're going to sort of brag about the enthusiasm about Bernie and AOC? To me, it's a delusion. Like you're going to get there just partly because they're a celebrity, partly because we rarely, if ever, get the top name Democrats coming to Idaho. There's no real reason to do it for them. I still don't quite understand why Bernie and AOC came here. But whatever, you look at all of that, you're still, at the end of this, you're going to be a failed party. And when you so closely align yourself with the top national socialists in our country, you're not helping yourself in Idaho. Mm-hmm. You would be much smarter to try to get Joe Manchin here, try to get Kyrsten Sinema here. They're not going to drive the same crowd, but you're not going to hamstring your brand as a Democrat Party by bringing in socialists.
Yeah.
You bring in people that love the Second Amendment, that actually care about freedom, that, you do that, then you might start to make progress as a party, even though it's less sexy and less exciting as Bernie and AOC.
And I will continue to say I do not understand this pairing. I don't understand it. What is AOC doing? We know Bernie's old.
Right.
Okay, so that right there is limiting just about anything that's going to happen. So let's just pluck Bernie and put him over here and not talk about him for a minute. I don't understand the pairing. What is AOC doing? Does she plan on running for president? Does she plan on primarying Chuck Schumer? Because if you plan on primarying Chuck Schumer, go back home. Spend this time in your area. There is ongoing complaints about her not being in her area ever. She is completely entrenched in the D.C. area. She does not go home, even though it's very easy for her to go home.
Right.
It's a short train ride.
Yeah.
She doesn't go home. So they've already been complaining about that. So what is she doing? So if you're not going to primary Chuck Schumer and you're tired of the House, possibly, this is not going to be an enjoyable 2 years for her because she's in the minority. Are you running for president? And if so, is this where you want to anchor your support, is to a socialist agenda that is so entrenched like the Bernieites? None of it makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It makes no sense at all. Although, Julie, I don't think the Democrat Party knows how to make sense anymore.
Who they even are.
Yeah, I think they are stumbling around in the dark right now trying to find anything that feels like a direction to go.
Yeah.
And you got multiple people trying to capitalize on the chaos in the Democrat Party right now, hoping to show up and be the savior of the party. And none of them are up to the task. Like, I really think, the Democrat Party is in far bigger trouble than they will acknowledge.
Yeah.
And no, it's going to be a long time before America goes, okay, I'm ready for some of that again.
Yeah.
They've just been lying to us.
Yeah, they have.
All right, 8:22 on News Talk 107.9. Quick break. If you'd like to reach us on the Stones Automotive Group call and text line, send us a text to 208-542-1079. We've got a Studio 4 cover coming up in a few minutes, Julie.
Yeah, the 40-something band is going to be joining us.
Okay, we'll be back. It's 8:23.
You think things get out of hand on the air?
Yeah, baby.
The real crazy happens on the Facebook post show.
Neal and Julie. Every weekday on Facebook Live.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. This is a story that came to us from a real customer, and I wanted to share it with you.
I'm a new CPAP user. The only thing I knew about CPAP when I walked in the door was that they are funny looking and I didn't want to wear one. The introductory class with the respiratory therapist at Alpine was great. I left feeling confident and less intimidated by the whole process.
We know when you walk through our doors, you deserve to be cared for. We really do have the best staff in the state. Discover the Alpine Home Medical difference. When you need assistance, we're here for you. You should know we accept most major insurances, so stop by any of our 11 locations today and explore our high-quality inventory. We love hearing about your experiences. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
Hey, it's Chris at Chesbro Music Company, and choosing your next new instrument is a very personal and hands-on experience and really can't be done effectively online. You need to experience how that instrument feels and how it plays firsthand. Come into Chesbro Music Company and let our team of professionals help you choose just the right instrument for you. We have the best selection of instruments, accessories, and sheet music you need to get the most out of your musical experience. Play it first, feel it first, love it always. Chesbro Music Company.
Warmer weather's finally here. And if your walls are stuck in winter, it may be time for a change. Saw something on Pinterest and don't want a DIY disaster? Call Tailored to Painting in Idaho Falls. No pressure, free estimates, just real pros who get it right. Call 208-569-2877 or visit tailored2painting.com. Tailored to Painting. Cover your world without the mess.
East Idaho Community Emergency Response Teams are looking to train volunteers in Region 7 counties, including Bonneville, Jefferson, Madison, Teton, Fremont, Custer, and Lemhi counties. If you want to be ready to respond in a disaster or crisis, this 20-hour training is for you. Anyone interested can come and learn about general preparedness, fire safety, and search and rescue. Volunteering afterward is not mandatory, but this is a great opportunity to get involved, and you may save someone's life one day. Sign up at easternidaho.cert.org.
Looking for a way to deepen your focus on the true meaning of Easter? Join us at the Idaho Falls Temple Visitor Center for a week of beautiful Easter music. Enjoy live performances each night at 7 p.m. from Palm Sunday, April 13th through Easter Sunday, April 20th. On Saturday, April 19th, we'll feature Spanish music. 1000 Memorial Drive. Everyone is welcome and admission is free.
Wonder what it's really like to be in law enforcement? Bonneville County Sheriff's Office Teen Leadership and Career Day Camp is calling your name. This free 4-day camp is packed with real law enforcement action. SWAT and bomb squad demos, dive experiences, cold cases, emergency driving, even a jail tour. It's your chance to get hands-on and behind the scenes. Participate the week of June 2nd or the week of June 9th. Applications open now to teens entering 9th grade through recent grads. For more info or to apply, go to BonnevilleSheriff.com and search Teen Career Camp.
Bonneville County Sheriff's Office is excited to announce the new Idaho Sheriff Connect app. Idaho Sheriff Connect instantly connects you to information and resources. With a touch of a button, find online crime reporting and tip submission, jail information and inmate search, sex offender registry, help with licenses, IDs and weapon permits, records, mental health resources, and job opportunities. Also, choose push notifications for important safety information during emergencies and events, media releases, and more. Download Idaho Sheriff Connect today. Just search Idaho Sheriff Connect in any app store.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton here. Join us weekdays 10 to 1 only on News Talk 107.9. Stimulating talk for East Idaho.
It's 8:27 on News Talk 107.9. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason on this Friday morning. And Julie, I did not end up doing the fajitas. So I still have that, though, which is a great Friday night meal. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. And, of course, the meat from Grand Peaks Prime Meats.
I just want to re-emphasize that it is Easter and make sure that you... I just want to reemphasize that it's Easter. So make sure that you get your Easter meal at Grand Peaks. And it's not too late. You can call them today. You can go pick it up. They do have some specials going on ham. So if that's what you do for Easter, it's a great place to get quality ham in order to make your dinner just the best that it possibly can be. But if you're just looking to fill your freezer or to get all of that grilling meat ready for these warm days that are coming your way, Grand Peaks Prime Meats is your place.
All right, gpprimemeats.com. That's where you can go to find all of that. And we have the 40-something band in the...
They're in the room with us right now. They're setting up.
We're not going to perform quite yet, but give us a couple of guitar strums and a couple of drum beats, all right? Okay, that's perfect. A little teaser there. So we'll have them for you coming up. It's 8:29 now on News Talk 107.9. And we'll be back after the news and shift into Studio 4 covers.
Did you miss the Neal Larson Show? Catch every episode on the News Talk 107.9 app. Grab it anytime.
Available in your app store now.
Time to get you updated on News Talk 107.9.
I'm Kaylee Galaviz with your top local headlines. A kitchen fire caused some serious damage to a home in Idaho Falls. Just after 5:45 p.m., firefighters were called to the 900 block of 13th Street. When they got there, they found heavy smoke pouring from the house. Thankfully, everyone inside made it out safely. Firefighters say the home did suffer significant damage. Fremont County emergency crews have been dealing with an unusually high number of wildfires lately. Since the start of the month, there have been 25 wildfires, 4 of which just happened on Tuesday. This time of year, Fremont County usually sees maybe 5 to 10 wildfires, so this significant spike is definitely raising concern. You're reminded that if you are planning to do a controlled burn, you will need a permit. The city of Pocatello has released police body camera footage and surveillance video from the police shooting that killed 17-year-old Victor Perez. Pocatello Mayor Brian Bladd gave a 6-minute press conference Thursday. He says there's so many questions that just can't be answered at this time due to the ongoing investigation and pending litigation. But people are still making their voices heard at a city council meeting Thursday.
Full stop. Victor did not pose a credible threat to the police.
To see all that the city released, visit our website, localnews8.com. In the Local News 8 newsroom, I'm Kaylee Galaviz. Your first alert weather is next.
Michael Coates from Local News 8 with a check of the weather forecast. We're expecting to see a few leftover areas of snow and rain for our Friday, along with gusty winds. Look for a high of 50 today, low of 26 tonight. Temperatures warmer for tomorrow with a high of 57 with more sunshine for Saturday. Slight chance of wet weather for Easter Sunday.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Paris signaling that President Trump and U.S. negotiators might soon abandon peace talks between Russia and Ukraine if no progress is made in the coming days. ABC's James Longman with more from the Foreign Desk.
This was surprisingly blunt from Marco Rubio. The Secretary of State has been in Paris for meetings with European leaders about a deal to stop the war in Ukraine. He told reporters, "We need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about in a matter of days, whether or not this is doable." He said if it's not going to happen, then, quote, "we are just going to move on."
A spokesman for the Houthis in Yemen says 74 people were killed, more than 70 wounded in Yemen amid the new campaign targeting the rebels. A 20-year-old student in police custody following yesterday's shooting on the campus of Florida State University. Tallahassee police say he killed 2 and wounded several other people. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen allowed to see the wrongly deported and detained Kilmar Albrego Garcia in El Salvador. This is ABC News.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, it's the Friday Five, and it's going to be a good one.
Well, we got to live up to that lofty promise, don't we, huh?
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, weekdays 1 to 4 on News Talk 107.9.
Mountain Crest Wealth Management is helping you with your financial future. Not knowing what changes life will bring means that it's not that difficult to veer from your retirement path. So it's always nice to travel with someone you trust. They can help align your priorities with your values, helping you make the right decisions at the right moments. Contact them today, and they can help make sure that you stay on track. In Idaho Falls, call Mountain Crest Wealth Management at 208-656-7412. That's 208-656-7412. Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC, WFAFN. Member SIPC is a registered broker-dealer and a separate non-bank affiliate of Wells Fargo & Company. Mountain Crest Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN. It's a small window that opens up here in East Idaho to soak up the sunshine of spring and summer. But if you suffer from seasonal allergies, that window becomes more like a crack. Wealth of Health Natural Market has you covered naturally. First, take note of what you're eating. Foods heavy in gluten, dairy, corn, and soy can be triggers for a lot of allergies. That might be making it much more difficult for your body to contend with seasonal and environmental allergens coming at your system 24/7. For solutions beyond diet, Wealth of Health Natural Market offers products like quercetin and bee pollen from Solaray to aid your body with a stronger defense. They also offer homeopathic combination formulas from Life Seasons, Irwin Naturals, and Terry Naturally. If you have concerns with kids, pregnancies, blood pressure, and pets, the well-educated experts at Wealth of Health can likely help you find a solution. Visit the Wealth of Health Natural Market on the corner of First Street and Woodruff in Idaho Falls. Be sure to check out their Facebook page for more great information and weekly specials.
MatchingDonors.com is a 501c3 that links organ donors with people in desperate need of kidneys. And now you don't need to donate a kidney to save a life. You can donate your boat, car, or real estate. 100% of the proceeds help save the lives of people needing organ transplants. Visit MatchingDonors.com.
Join me, Guy Benson, every weeknight, 8 to 11, only on News Talk 107.9.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, it's Brad from Now 105.1 and QP99. I'm in the studio here. I love our studios, by the way. Ranger Rick back there. There's Neal and Julie doing their thing. Hey, when you want to advertise on the radio, what do? You call the radio station, right? But what do you do when you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram and Hulu and Disney Plus and Peacock and the other TV streaming services? You can kind of click around on them and make guesses or read books or take courses online on how to do that advertising. Or you could call us at the radio station. At Sandhill Media, we take care of your local radio and digital marketing. So reach out to us at sandhillmediagroup.com and we'll make sure that your message gets heard and seen wherever your customers are.
All right, 8:34 on News Talk 107.9, a Friday edition of the Neal Larson Show. And at this time, that always means Studio 4 covers, and we're super excited to have the 40-something band in studio with us. And good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. Well, it's great to have you. Got all 4 of you here. So one of you introduce for us the 40-something band.
Okay. We are the 40-something on mandolin and vocal this morning. Ralph Perez on guitar, vocals, Mike Toombs over on bass, Fred Cantafio. I'm Brian Hess, and we are the 40-something.
Okay, are you still? I was going to ask you, are you still 40-something?
Well, we are, but we're
okay. 40s,
yeah,
yes,
40
gotcha.
We're young-minded.
That's true. Well, you still sound super fresh, so that's really good. So I know you guys have been around for a while. I've seen you perform at different events. I think my daughter's performed at even some of the events you guys have been to before. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you formed and what you do on a week-by-week basis.
That's on you.
Ralph and I first got together back in, about 2000?
1999 until 2000.
And we just started jamming together down at my shop and added Kenny Dodge, his drummer, and
Since
Ralph
passed. Yeah.
Well, we had a couple other bass players, but Ralph's son played bass, and Brian came along, and eventually Fred came along, and when we started out, we were in our 40s, but we've moved way beyond that.
So considering we've been doing this for 20-plus years, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, it is. And so,
That's it.
We don't play consistently together because of our schedules currently, but we still love getting together and
when you can.
When we can.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying the opportunity to be here today.
It always surprises us too that we got together to do this at Mike's house. We just we picked this song, we got together, and it was just tighter than a bull's rump at fly time.
You didn't.
I did.
We could play for a couple of hours just off the cuff because we've been playing that long. And Ralph and I read each other so well when it comes to the two of us playing guitar. He knows what I'm going to do. I know what he's going to do. And
he's like my brother from another mother.
We're ready when you're ready.
Okay, so really quick, do you guys have any social media or a way, like if people want you to perform, do you do
we
that?
have a Facebook page, 40-something band.
Okay.
And,
Yep, find us on Facebook.
Find us on Facebook. That's
any upcoming.
Ralph's the curator of the Facebook page.
Okay.
He's the band historian. He keeps all the videos and does a great job with that.
Any upcoming performances you want to plug here? Or?
Scotty's
July 4th at Scotty's.
4th of July. We'll be playing at Scotty's after the parade. We'll probably start about 11 o'clock and go to about 2 o'clock.
Okay. Well, that's a great place to play for a band like yours.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah.
It is. It's fun.
We've been doing Scotty's for probably 12 years.
Okay.
That long? Maybe longer.
Longer than
that. Just a scorching heat.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, tell us what you're going to play for us today.
We're going to play Ooh La La, that was made famous by Faces. Rod Stewart later recorded it on his own. It was featured in an Amazon commercial a couple of years back, so hopefully you'll recognize it.
Yeah, it's a catchy little tune that everybody will recognize, and if you're on the other side of the microphone and you know the chorus, please feel welcome to
sing along.
Join in. Gotcha. All right, 40-something band, take it away.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Such a pretty show will steal your heart away. say, I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was younger, I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was stronger, that I knew what I know now. When I was younger, that I knew what I know now. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la, la la, la 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 la.
You guys are so fun. 40-something band, even through the high notes.
Yeah.
You were great. That was a lot of fun. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
40-something band on Facebook. Check them out. 8:42 now on News Talk 107.9.
Live, local, stimulating talk for East Idaho. The Neal Larson Show on News Talk 107.9.
At R&J Custom Countertops, quality always counts. Specializing in quartz and natural stone, they've been custom fabricating and installing countertops since 2000. Whether it's for a remodel or new construction, they are your #1 choice. In fact, voted #1 in the best of Greater Idaho Falls, their commitment is to provide superior craftsmanship and stunning designs. Their friendly team is professionally trained to transform your space. That's R&J Custom Countertops. Call 528-8247 or stop by their location at 601 West 19th in Idaho Falls.
This month we celebrate Earth Day, a time to honor the beauty of our planet and take steps to protect it. You can join the celebration by making simple changes that make a big difference. Following are just a couple examples. Consider adding native plants around your house or garden. They support pollinators, provide food and shelter for wildlife, and require less water and care. They're a natural way to give back to your local ecosystem. Recycling is another great way to help. Brush up on your local recycling rules to ensure you're sorting correctly, and remember to recycle electronics and hazardous substances responsibly. Every item recycled keeps waste out of landfills. Finally, take a moment to enjoy the beauty around you. A hike, a visit to a park, or even time in the backyard strengthens our connection to nature and inspires us to protect it. So in celebration of Earth Day this month, let's celebrate the gift of our planet and commit to keeping it beautiful. This message is brought to you by Bayer. For more information about Bayer's ongoing safety, health, and community programs, visit us online at bayer.com.
At Taylor Chevrolet in Rexburg, we truly have a one-stop shop. New or pre-owned, service for all makes and models, trucks, boats, trailers, and motorhomes. We love them all. Need a tow or need a part? Collision repairs and paint are some of our specialties. From tires to trucks and accessories to paint, we're ready, willing, and able to take care of all your transportation needs. We look forward to serving you for the next 90 years. Finding new roads to Taylor Chevrolet in Rexburg.
Your Upper Valley leader, Taylor Chevrolet.
I'm with Devin Butters. You've got a ton going on at Rev Motorsports.
That's true. Things are not slowing down at all. We just purchased Colby Off-Road and Triumph of Idaho Falls. We're super excited to be selling all these awesome motorcycle brands. Triumph, Beta, Sherco, Riehu, AJP, and E-Motos from Sur-Ron, E-Ride, and Arctic Leopard. An amazing addition to our current lineup from Skidoo, Sea-Doo, Can-Am, and Yamaha.
And on top of all of that, the snow is gone and it's time for all things summer.
Yeah, we can't wait to get some of that vitamin D here in Idaho. We're putting away the Skidoos and loading the showroom with Sea-Doo and Yamaha Wave Runners. We've got new Can-Am side-by-sides and ATVs arriving all the time, and everyone is going to want to rev up a new street bike or dirt bike from Yamaha. Whatever your dream summer looks like, we've got it gassed up and ready to ride.
Okay, and at 2 locations in Idaho Falls.
Our remodeled showroom at 100 Maple Street, and now our Triumph showroom at 425 North Holmes. Rev Motorsports, rev up your life.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Please join me weeknights at 7 for the No Spin News.
only on News Talk 107.9.
It's 8:46 on News Talk 107.9. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason. Big thanks again to the 40-something band. And that was fun to have them in.
Oh, they're a great group of men. It was just fun.
Yeah, I've seen them
guys
bouncing around at different events for a long time. It's cool that they still perform, sound great together. So
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
it's clear they have a good time together. So that's even better.
Yeah, they do. It's good. It's good. So, Donald Trump said Jimmy Carter died a happy man.
Yeah. He did say that.
You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was.
Yep. The trolling of Joe Biden will never not be happening over the next 4 years.
Oh, it won't be.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It is trolling Joe Biden. It's really trolling the entire Democrat establishment. So that's good. So, Julie, sometimes it's hard to find anything to talk about when it comes to politics outside how bad the Democrats are doing right now. I want to talk about something else, but it's hard to get away from this.
It is hard because they're swinging and missing so much. So, yes, it is very difficult to find anything more than that. I could be a little bit critical of the Trump administration right now if you want me to.
Go for it.
Okay. I feel like the meeting with the European leader yesterday,
Maloney,
was very good. Yeah. I felt like it was a great meeting. And I feel like it was a strong bridge that's trying to be built between the EU and America.
Yeah.
All of that's a win. It was a great win yesterday. Great optics from the White House. All good. So I'm not critical of that. I really think it's time that Donald Trump show an inked deal between us and another nation with a tariff.
Yeah.
Something that is very, very set and specific. I do believe the American public has been patient. They're willing to go through a little pain to fix this tariff problem. I do think it's time to show something. And I think they're coming. I'm not saying that going, oh, this is just, smoke and mirrors. I don't think it's that at all. I think they are coming. I just think that people are going to start to become impatient.
So, yeah, I think they will become impatient, even though it's still very early on in the process.
Oh, absolutely, it's early.
And there's probably internal arguments over publicly, optically, how to do this. Do you drip, drip, drip agreements as they get signed? Or do you sign agreements, keep it quiet, and then you announce on one big day, out of the 130, we have 126 agreements that are rock solid for the American people. It's a big, huge, historic deal, rather than just kind of the drip, drip, drip. I can see it both ways.
I can see it both ways, too.
They may have already reached agreement with a number of these countries.
Yeah, so there might be purposely a reason that they're holding it. There could be. And maybe just say one or two big ones, and then just go, and there's so much more coming. And then that will buy you a longer time frame for people to be patient for the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a mixture of both. Talk about one specific one that it's set in stone. This is how us and Taiwan are going to deal with each other, or whomever it is. And then as all of the others come into play, do one big announcement.
I can also see Trump's strategy. I think PR-wise, what you're saying is absolutely true. But long-term strategy, America can ride this out better than some of these other countries can. They want certainty. They want to know their trade is going to go forward. So it may actually be in our interest to prolong it a little bit in terms of the quality of the deal that we get on the other side.
It could possibly be. I guess that's the idea is, do we have any firm...
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they do say is we haven't revealed exactly because it's our bargaining chips, but with 8 countries, it's set in stone now. Maybe you could say that instead of actually saying the deal that's inked between the certain country, So then you're not giving away the actual playing card. You're just saying, I have a pair in my hand, but you don't know if it's a pair of twos or a pair of aces.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know. I just feel like the public needs a little bit. Now, I'll put a caveat on that. In that meeting yesterday with Maloney, he answered questions from the press, and he talked about how gas prices, there's a couple of states that are below $2 a gallon now. And that we weren't even close to that under Biden.
Yeah.
And we're going into the summer season when it's supposed to be going up.
Right. Yeah.
But instead it's going down. He then talked about certain groceries, specifically eggs, that are going down. So he is reminding the American public that, the mainstream media is telling you how much pain you're feeling. I want you to actually pay attention to, are you feeling the pain? Or do you have a little bit more in your checking account because you're not paying so much for gas and groceries now?
Yeah. That's a really good point. Mm-hmm. Do we show up at the news cycle every day to ask the media, how am I doing?
Yeah, what does my bank account look like?
Right, what's my pain level today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that's good. So, I have this sense, Julie, whenever I watch Trump operate, he doesn't give a flying crap about what the media reports about him.
Mm-mm. I don't think he cares.
He gives less than a flying crap.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's one of his superpowers. Most politicians crumble under the withering criticism and scrutiny. Not Trump. He just walks through it. I feel like, and maybe this is pessimistic, Neal, looking out into the future, we have got a deep bench. I don't know if we have a good replacement. It's like you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, and you've got some decent quarterbacks coming up, but you don't have a Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we have a good replacement for Trump that is going to just move forward, not care, keep going, punching back, whatever. That's what I'm a little worried about, is that we've got a deep bench because right now it's safe to be Trumpian while he's in power. I don't know if we maintain it once he's gone.
So I've actually given this some thought before you have said it, because I really am watching J.D. Vance, because it's going to be a tough decision for me between J.D. Vance and Ron DeSantis if they both end up running in 2028. I like both of them, and I think they would both be good for the country. So you're really just comparing little nuggets there at that point. There is something happening with J.D. Vance that I'm loving. I have mentioned before that one of my biggest concerns with the Biden administration was our weakness on the foreign stage. I felt like we were incredibly vulnerable for 4 years.
Yeah.
And we saw those vulnerabilities be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance is visiting these individual countries and developing relationships.
That's true.
With these presidents or these leaders.
Yeah.
That is very important to me. And that if that continues, that makes the difference for me between him and DeSantis, because we need to be strong.
Trump doesn't need to. He's not going to run it. I mean, he's teasing that he might run again, but he won't. But yeah, you're right. That's long-term investments in the political bank account for J.D. Vance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't even pretend like foreign people, adversaries and friends, play a difference in our elections. They do. They 100% do. And so it's very important that we strengthen those relationships again. Strengthen those relationships that people can be truly our allies. And I think J.D. Vance is doing that.
Yeah, I think so. That's a really good point. All right, it's 8:55 now on News Talk 107.9. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason. I know the weather's a little wonky. I think it's going to improve, and that means you ought to be outside working in your yard this weekend, which also means you need to make a stop at Town and Country Gardens to grab your 4-step lawn program.
Look, this is not difficult. We're offering up something to you. We're explaining something to you that actually makes your life so much easier. You make one stop, hopefully more, because you're going to fall in love with Town and Country Gardens, which is what has happened in my life. But one stop to get the 4 steps. You take them all home. store them in your garage or your shed, and then you do the 4 individual applications. Right now it's time for step 1, which is the humates. Then throughout the summer you do 2 steps of fertilizer, and then you do the winterizer. You set some reminders in your phone. They even send you home with a sheet that explains everything. If you're old school, tape that sheet right up there, right? Maybe to one of the bags or to the wall, and it's there.
It's right on my wall, the wall of my studio in the garage.
There you go. Yeah. You just know what to do with it. It's so simple, and it will make all the difference. Both you and I have beautiful lawns because we've been using it.
I was going to add that pro tip because that's what I did a year or 2 ago. I just put in reminders for step 2 and 3 and 4, and it's worked out great.
It just works out awesome. Plus, they have everything else: seeds, shrubs, trees, plants, anything you need to beautify both the inside and the outside of your home with living things.
Yes.
Yeah, Town and Country Gardens, south of Idaho Falls, across from the malting plant right there off Yellowstone Highway.
Okay, this was a great moment in the White House yesterday.
You did say that you were confident these deals will be done, but you also said that you're in no rush. Americans are seeing prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long can they expect that pain to last?
So they've already seen it get much better. Because if you were truthful, which you're not, I know you very well, you have gasoline that hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. You have gasoline's way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries are substantially down. The price of eggs, when I came in, they hit me with eggs. I just got there. I was here for 1 week, and they started screaming at me, eggs have gone through the roof. I said, I just got here. I was there for 7 days, and I hear that eggs have gone through the roof before I got there. And they were screaming at me, the press, the fake news like you're fake.
Like you're fake.
You're fake, you know this.
Oh, these are your people I'm talking about. You, right there, you're fake.
Well, and he just says it like without hesitation. If you were truthful, which you're not, this is exactly I believe this is the Republican playbook for the next however many years it needs to be until the media starts deciding we better tell the American people the truth. We better start doing journalism again.
Yeah. And we're seeing hints of it. And I guess we can be optimists and hope that this continues. You see every morning, even this morning, Harry Enton had another a piece on CNN as we're watching the TVs here in the studio.
Well, and the angel mom that was at the White House the other day, that was her message to the media. Please tell the truth. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's told in a different way than Trump says it, but it's the same message. All right, it's 8:58. We're going to break. We'll come back. Hour 2 of the Neal Larson Show on this Friday morning coming up.
The students, shut up.
Yeah.
I went to college. No one fed me.
Right.
Feed yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Go get your own food.
Yeah.
Call your buddy. Have your buddy bring you food.
Yeah, y'all got phones.
Did they want the university to order them food?
Yeah, they felt like some of them might have been on food plans. You know how you have a food plan sometimes?
Oh, okay.
I think they wanted the cafeteria to deliver to them.
Oh, that's right. I do remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of turds.
Poor, they're just such victims. They are. They are such victims.
They are. They really are.
It's like the woman up in Kootenai County. Such a victim.
Mm-hmm. There ought to be a crime. We ought to create a new... There probably is clunky ways of interpreting current law, but I feel like there ought to be a crime when you try to create a situation like this. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you'd call it.
We call it Smolletting. I don't know what it would be called on the books.
Smollett laws, but... Good morning. It is 9:07 on News Talk 1079. And I know, Julie, we have lots of lawmakers tuning in, paying very close attention. So, Representative Wheeler and Mickelson and Ehart and Horman and Achilles and who else do you think? Furman. I'm sure they're listening just with bated breath. We need you to create a new set of laws. All right, so listen up. It's called the Smollett laws or the anti-Smollett laws. If you're trying to create a situation and you're essentially creating a situation that ends up slandering people, there ought to be penalties associated with that. We're seeing developments out of this whole Coeur d'Alene. The situation, the town hall meeting where the lady would not shut up. She kept disrupting the meeting. By any common sense measure, she's disturbing the peace. She's being very disruptive to a public meeting where you do have the opportunity to speak, but you don't get to just yell out whenever you want. So they trespass her out of the building. Security guys pick her up. They take her out. She's flailing about, like they do. The story...
Doesn't she bite somebody?
Yeah, she bit one of the officers.
Yeah, one of the security guys, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, kudos to the restraint. If somebody bites me, I'm not sure I restrain myself.
Yeah.
But so the story from the Coeur d'Alene, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, this story seems to be shifting about if they knew those guys were security or not. And the initial statements don't match up with the more recent statements. Does perjury does it apply in a law enforcement report? If the story gets changed, there's lying somewhere on one of them or the other. So the best thing to do is tell the truth from the get-go.
Yes.
And I don't know if perjury laws apply, but what I'm saying is, and this applies to the Jussie Smollett situation. I believe, I'll go out on a limb here, I think it applies to January 6th. I think there were actions deliberately taken and actions deliberately not taken to make January 6th turn into what it turned into. I think they wanted the optics to make Trump look bad and to blame him for what happened on January 6th. We know that there were FBI assets in the crowd. We know that Nancy Pelosi turned down offers for added security. We know that in multiple entrances into the Capitol Police, they removed the barricade and invited people to come in, and then they charged those people with trespassing. Like, it just had a feel to it. And when you see enough little clues around an event, it starts to take on a certain aroma. It starts to have a certain feel to it. This Coeur d'Alene thing is starting to have a certain feel to it. Like this woman showed up. She's clearly a far leftist, lefty. And I think she got the outcome she wanted. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars did...
Oh, the GoFundMe was...
the dupes pay to GoFundMe?
Yeah, it was over $300,000 if I remember the last amount correctly. And it could be way higher now. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway as I watched the video that was released on X yesterday's, which means I don't know if somebody got it via FOIA. I don't know how, but it was put out on X yesterday. And in it, my problem is that the sheriff clearly identifies who he is. He steps out, calls the paid security over who are just in black jackets. And remember, that was the big issue, right?
Yep.
Can't tell who they are. There's no logo. They just look like regular guys. And we even talked about it on air that when we were at Trump's rally, you could clearly tell who Trump's guys were. They were all dressed identically, very, very identifiable green shirts.
Very military-esque.
Yes.
Yeah.
These guys were just in black jackets and black pants. So there was some vagary to their quote-unquote costume. I don't know what you want me to call it, uniform. Yeah. But the video does show that they identify who they are.
Yeah.
Well, that was not the narrative that was sold to the mainstream media. It was that this woman was just sitting there not doing anything, and these guys pulled on up and grabbed her out of her seat and drug her out. And of course she needed to bite one of them because she needed to stand up for herself. And she was told repeatedly in the video that you will be leaving the building. You have to leave. And you can either leave on your own or we can drag you out. And she chooses to be drug out.
For some reason, my mind has hung up on the GoFundMe money.
That's okay, because it's a horrible part of it.
Well, it is a horrible, but I'm thinking while we have this cadre of lawmakers that I know are listening to the radio show, let's add another law that if you receive money, which is so weird because people are now raising money for that kid that stabbed the other kid, and they are living in a posh house now with a new car. Like we talked about this, and I saw that story. If you've done something illegal, maybe we hold GoFundMe accountable if they're helping to raise money for criminals.
So GoFundMe and Give, Send, Go also, I believe, have policies that you can't raise money for defense funds.
Okay.
But you can raise money to ease life's burdens.
Okay.
So I think that's how they're getting around that.
I don't like, I see the loophole. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because what happens if they're like, boy, it would sure ease my burden if I could hire a good defense attorney.
Yeah.
Right? That's money's fungible. Like,
it's so fungible.
Is somebody going to police how they're spending the money? No. So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. But really, the concept for me is how disturbed is culture?
Yes, you're right.
So I sent you a video yesterday. Unfortunately, we had another campus shooting. This one was in Florida State University. The son of two law enforcement parents took I think he had a rifle and a pistol. I don't know if he had ammunition for the rifle. The pistol was the one that seemed to be the gun used to cause the harm. 2 people are dead. 4 are, or maybe 6, are critically injured, somewhere in that range. The video that I sent Neal has a girl filming from her cell phone. In her left hand, she is holding her Starbucks drink. In her right hand, she is holding the phone. She's filming as she's walking through campus afterwards, and there are still hurt people on the ground. And she shows the hurt people and walks on past and takes a drink out of her Starbucks drink.
Yeah.
Our culture is broken.
Oh, it's totally broken. It's completely... Look, we have a U.S. Senator flying to El Salvador to meet with and garner sympathy for a violent gang member. It's broken.
We are so broken. We're raising money for a kid who went into... It's a track meet, so you don't have sidelines, but that's basically what he did. He went into the team huddle on that team's sideline and stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
And we're raising more than $500,000 for this young man.
Julie, I'm having the same mental reaction I have when after October 7th in Israel a couple of Octobers ago, the Democrats are siding with Hamas. They're siding with the group that started the horrific violence in the first place. It's the same thing. What is wrong with you, Democrats? What has happened to you?
Well, they made George Floyd a hero. The man who beat women, used drugs, was in the middle of committing a crime, and he was the hero.
Okay, well, but what does that take mentally for you to walk into a situation and you see conflict, for you to take the side that is obviously the victim, and if they happen to be white or male or Christian or, good, decent people, you're able to make them into a perpetrator that deserved what they got, and then the original perpetrator becomes a victim because they're suffering consequences for their initial action. They twist it. It truly is a house of mirrors morally for them to walk into a situation and then flip everybody's roles where victims become perpetrators and perpetrators become victims. It is a bizarre mental illness on the part of the Democrats.
Do they have a moral compass? Because your moral compass, we all have it. We're born with it. It's part of fight or flight. It's your protection mode to look at something and go, that's dangerous. I need to be away from it.
Yeah.
When you're 2, it's the snarling, barking dog, and you might love dogs, but your inner part, you're built with that. Your inner part's like, that's dangerous. I need to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Is that so broken?
I don't know.
That they run to the danger?
I don't know. I don't know. Julie, there's maybe we're all like this to a certain extent where we're drawn to things that aren't good for us. We know how socialism turns out. Every single time. You give it enough time, socialism turns, if it doesn't kill people, it harms their lives. It harms their pocketbooks. It harms their health. So you just give it. Look at the numbers of people that flock to see Bernie and AOC.
Yeah.
On Monday. Like, they are drawn to drinking Drano, and I don't know why. Why are you craving drinking Drano? It's a weird thing. I don't know.
I can't explain it either. There are situations in this world. I will talk about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We've mentioned multiple times. I don't think there's a clear good guy and a bad guy. And so it's weird to me that people are trying to identify a good guy and a bad guy there. In a situation where one young man walks into, it's the version of the team huddle, and stabs another young man, I don't think you have to look far to see what the good guy and the bad guy was with all of that.
Yeah.
Even if there was previous beef with these two, you walked in with a knife and stabbed somebody. I'm sorry, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to say allegedly to this because he admitted it. He's already admitted it to the cops.
Yeah.
Yet somehow that kid's being made a hero.
Who's opening their wallet to that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And when it comes to the Palestinian-Hamas conflict, I don't even want to pretend who should be winning that religious war. I don't want to pick Israel. I don't want to pick Hamas. But you know what? When you parachute in and you kill innocent people who are dancing to music, and then you parade women who are covered in blood from their crotch to their knees because of the abuse that you've just done to them, I don't have a hard time finding out who's the bad guy in that.
Well, to most people, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not to Democrats. They see, when you and I see a perpetrator, the Democrats say, how can I make them a victim?
Mm-hmm.
How can I, Luigi Mangione. I mean, it happens over, and it is now an incredibly predictable pattern on the part of one particular political stripe. They will always walk into a situation, take the clear perpetrator, and you put it through their mental gymnastics, and they will turn that person into a victim every time.
And not just predictable, but constantly profitable.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's a machine.
Yeah, it is. Well, very well oiled.
Mm-hmm.
921 News Talk 1079. Neal Larson, Julie Mason, and you. If you'd like to reach us on the Stones Automotive Group, call and text line 208-542-1079. Okay. Hello, Facebook. I gotta check really quick. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay.
Okay, let's talk about something I saw on social media. Because they're showing Sanders in California doing his Oligarchy tour.
Yeah.
I saw some people in the Boise area claiming that the people that were behind Sanders and AOC when they were at the podium at the Napa Event Center, that they didn't look like Idahoans.
Okay. What do you have to look like?
I'm like, you guys, stop making yourselves look silly. Don't do that. Don't. I show up at the Eastern Idaho State Fair and wonder half the time where these people came from.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're Idahoans. Just because I don't hang out with them week to week doesn't mean they don't live here.
I'm way less concerned about a physical appearance than what they're trying to pull over on.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, 9:25 on News Talk 1079. Had a caller hung up. So call back.
Maybe they got a call that was more important than us, and I'm feeling very slighted with that.
They may have.
Who's more important than us?
I still remember the time that I was droning on and on and on, had a caller on the line, and, callers can wait. Like, it's fine. And some callers will complain, I was on hold. Well, yeah, but when you call a radio show, you know that you don't just get right on.
Yeah,
like sometimes. Anyway, so I take the call. I'm like, hi, what's your name when you're calling from? Or where you're calling from? Yes, this is Lawrence Wasden calling from Boise. I had left him on hold for like 15 minutes. I'm like, this is the Attorney General of the state of Idaho, and I left him on hold anyway. So I tried to be a little better about screening calls after that. But anyway,
I'm sure we knew who the caller was. I'm sure they'll call back.
Yeah, that's true. They wanted to talk about the recharge sites. So
hopefully it was a really important call. Like maybe he won a.
Oh, they took him away? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he won a national contest and he's just got a prize of some sort.
Yeah, that could be.
Is Ed McMahon still alive? Can he call us and give us money?
You know what? I used to do trivia, and one of the question was dead or not dead, and then I'd put a celebrity name out there.
Uh-huh.
That would be perfect, because I don't think he is. If you were asking me dead or not dead, I think he died a few years ago.
I would say dead also.
Yeah, he died in 2009.
Okay, a few years ago. Wow. 2009!
16 years ago. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Now I feel really bad.
You know who lived way longer than I thought?
Who?
Doris Day.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Yes, because this was just a couple years ago or 3 years ago or something like that.
It was not that long ago. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Doris Day was a lady who was on TV back when it was black and white all the time. And I would have assumed that she had passed on. But no, she outlived that. And then there was another one, Wink Martindale, the game show host.
Yeah.
I would have guessed he had passed because you hadn't seen him anywhere in anything. And no, he died. He was like 93 or something. So,
okay.
And then there's celebrities that just keep staying active well into their 90s, like Betty White, William Shatner. Like they just keep on acting,
keeping on
doing interviews. Like I really kind of appreciate that. Like I respect celebrities that when it's they
exit.
Yeah, they make an exit, and I respect that. But the ones that have the energy to keep going, I'm like, good for them. They know they bring smiles to America, and Betty White's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I started a series a while back. I got about 10 minutes in, and I stopped because it wasn't matching my desired cleanliness level of a series.
Oh, okay.
We'll just say that. But Pierce Brosnan is in it.
Yeah.
He was great. I was like, good for him. He's doing this. He's doing the role. I thought that was awesome.
What was the series?
It's called Mobland.
Oh, okay.
I bet it's really good. I just didn't have a desire to hear that much of the F word and to see that much nudity, so I stopped it. But
they say it too effing much. That's what I... Calm down, people. It's Friday. Little levity. You're right, though. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I have, and I'm not a prude, but when you're watching a series, like I don't count with a stopwatch. Like, that's 3 F words in 5 minutes. I'm not, but you feel it. Like you're just like, I don't. Yeah. I'll handle 1 or 2 an episode, but yeah.
Yeah, I just needed something different at that time. So no judgment on those who've watched it. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Sorry, I was finishing my... I thought you were going to talk a little longer, so I took a drink of soda, and you're like...
This is such a Friday, if there's ever a Friday.
So if the storyline's good enough, will you endure the cussing? Or...
I will, especially if it's like a documentary and I'm watching real life footage. I will, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I will for a documentary, or if it's like a true story dramatization and it's reflecting what really happened.
Yeah.
I have a higher tolerance level for it. But if it's just gratuitously thrown in for some, no.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, caller. How are you today?
Is that me you got?
It's you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, on the very subject you're talking about right now, the unnecessary gratuitous language and nudity and such. I calculated through the PG rating removal of all that stuff that I could watch the entire 5 seasons of Yellowstone in 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Are you kidding? Holy cow.
I'm just making a joke.
Oh, I'm like...
Julie took you literally.
I totally took you literally.
And I was 50-50 on it, so yeah.
You know, it could be, though, because I'll tell you what, Yellowstone's a great show and a great series, but my golly, what an unnecessary level of foul language and gratuitous. It's stuff, nothing to the story. It does nothing but detract from the program and adds nothing of value to the story. I loved the Yellowstone series. I quit watching it after a while, but man, oh man. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw it. I'm someone who generally has no problem with whatever's in a show. If it's language, limited amounts, but it's the kind of show that it's really hard to sit down with family member or young people and think that what's coming out of your TV is okay.
Yeah. That's
but
true.
anyway, I agree with you guys. It normally doesn't bother me, but holy, some shows it's just too much.
Yeah.
Little overboard.
Yeah.
You guys have a good weekend.
You too, as well. Have a wonderful Easter. You know what show, although I guess it did have the F word a little bit, but I was talking about how I loved how Cobra Kai ended. Mm-hmm. That show has too much cussing in it. Like it's just, it doesn't need it. And the story's great, and that's what I don't understand. But to pair it, I've noticed this with a lot of social media videos where not produced TV shows or dramas or whatever, but just you watch a social media video and these people they look like they would fit in at BYU, Idaho. Like they're clean cut, and you'll go 2 or 3 minutes, you don't hear a single foul word, and then out of the blue, they drop one. And you're watching it thinking it's safe. You might have a kid in the room or my mom's in the room, whatever. And all of a sudden, bleep. And you're like, where did that come from?
It's just very common now. I think it's very common. I was in a big box store a few weeks back, and a mom, a dad, and 2 little kids were putting a piece of, like it was a small plastic dresser thing that you would put in a kid's room. It was specific for a kid's room. And apparently it was broken or had a flaw in it or something. I don't know. She is dropping the F word every 3rd or 4th word. Well, what the F are we going to do now? This effing thing is broken. And I'm like, first, there's other little kids around, and then there's your 2 little kids around. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's just very common.
I saw that happen in the library one time. Top floor. Like, there's layers of violation there because you're supposed to be quiet.
You're supposed to be quiet.
And little kids are running around, get the F back here. It's like, okay, I'm trying to write or study, whatever. And Dad's going off, just yelling. And you're right, though. It's
just very common. We may be kind of in the minority at this point.
I think we might be. I think people might listen to this and go, oh, there's no fuddy-duddy. Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, we might be.
It's quite a kerfuffle, quite frankly. So...
And that was for the long-time listeners.
They know the inside joke. Let's go back. Let's go to the phones. Hi, caller. How are you today?
Hey, we wanted to talk a little bit about the recharge basin. Our brother-in-law called in, and I guess he lost connection, so he called me and said, can you guys take my call for me? So my wife is here with me, so we are in the middle of a basin being built around our house, and we have, according to our realtor, been devalued by about 30 to 40% because of this basin going in. So we've had problems with sand in our well. We've had cracks in our ceiling from compaction. We, of course, constant dust every day. And it becomes about, everybody says, well, we just want to recharge the aquifer. And we're in agreement with that, of course, but at what cost? I mean, it seems like there's so many thousands of acres of farm ground where these could be put in without ruining houses. And since we've had this problem, we've had other people from up in Riley around that basin get in touch with us and say, yeah, we've had the same exact problems. How come this isn't in the news? And so, yes, we want the recharge aquifer projects to go through, but it becomes about money and not about not about water. And so as you look at how many millions of dollars the taxpayers are paying for these basins to be built, and the canal companies are fighting against each other for ground instead of working together to build these basins. So we just want it out there that these are about money, and not about putting water into the aquifer.
And that they can hurt.
Yeah.
So we've talked to Lieutenant Governor Betke, and he says, oh, yeah, we want to be good neighbors, and we want to put these in the right place. But now when we contact him, he won't reply. So we've kind of been ghosted by the Idaho Water Board, by Lieutenant Governor Betke. So they say these things, but there's no action being done. So we somehow want to be compensated and support the basins, but when they're so close to homes, we just want that out there, that they need to be more careful where they put these basins.
And one thing I just wanted to add is that, I believe because of us contacting so many people, and I don't want to say throwing a fit because that's not really quite right, but educating people and causing attention to what's happening to our situation, I believe that that's really the premise behind Bonneville County putting on the moratorium, which we fully support. They do need to stop for a moment and say, hold up, let's make some great rules around this, great requirements around these basins, whether they should be allowed to have gravel pits with them. In our case, they want to crush gravel for the next 10 years, literally right next to my border. So, you guys can all imagine how bad that is.
Yeah. Well, I will say, and I'll let Julie weigh in, you're talking to a couple of people that are not experts in this at all. We understand the conflict and there's a lot of intricacies there. So I guess I'm not quite sure how to respond to this. I think it's unfortunate.
I would ask this question. Was there a seat at the table in the lawmaking process that suggested that these recharge basins be done and were approved? Was there a seat at the table for people like you? Like, have you expressed these comments to the people who are actually making the decisions, or has it just been a phone call to Lieutenant Bedke's office?
No, we've written letter after letter after letter. We've gone to every one of the water boards that we possibly could. There was not, to my knowledge, a seat at the table prior to anyone just coming in and doing them. And they weren't even permitted a year ago. And when I say permitted, like getting a permit to do them, as opposed to the not allowed permit.
Can I just add one thing? When they started digging this, we had no idea what was going on. It was right on our border of our property, and they started digging big holes, and we said, what are they doing there? And they hadn't even talked to us about it, so we had no idea what was going on. So there's no forethought on talking to neighbors or say, hey, this is what we're going to do. So we had no way to either be for it or against it, because there's no way we knew it was going on.
Just a surprise. I know one of the concerns is the sand and the sediment that's in your water.
Drinking water.
Can you install a filter? Because I know they do filters.
They do, and we've lived in this place for 39 years, for 30 years. And the first 29, we had zero issues, and we've never had a filter on the well.
Yeah.
And then when they put this in, apparently their engineer came back in one of our hearings and said, hey, we expected you to have sand in your well, because as water goes down, it's going to push the sediment out of the way. And of course you're going to get sand in your well. Well, they never told us that. And if they knew that ahead of time, why wouldn't they come? And, they're 10 feet from us and say, hey, you need a filter. We'll put it on or whatever. But as of, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, Idaho Department of Water Resources did come in and they paid to put a filter on our well.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that did just happen, but we still have damage. I just had to replace my washing machine, and you just go, you've got to be kidding. The amount of sand that was inside of my washing machine, it ruined it. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had.
Before we hang up, because there's so many sides to this issue. And again, Neal and I don't pick a side here. You know what we pick a side on is making sure that farmers can continue doing their work. But we don't pick a side on, which option's the best or whatever, because we're just not experts at it. But my question is, are you near a canal? Because that seems to be the big deal, that you have to be near certain water in order for a recharge station to be put in. Like, they can't just be placed anywhere.
Yeah, we're probably a little over a quarter of a mile or so from a canal.
Okay.
I mean, most people are around here, maybe not quite, but yeah. But there was land on the other side right next to the canal that they chose not to use. They put it instead away from the canal and right bordering our property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Best of luck.
Yeah, good luck to you. I know that it's frustrating, and I don't know if there's a simple way to address this, because in order for us to keep farming and irrigating on this side of the state, we have to recharge.
And that's the solution they came up with, which is why I asked if they ever were part of that solution making.
I also think, there are multiple recharge sites. So creating these is undoubtedly you're going to have conflict on a lot of these places just because there's competing interests. And this is what I would say, as if we're going to sort of be the uninformed referees, right? Because we don't know enough about this to make a verdict on either side. But I would say if people are in any way harmed or injured by this, like financially injured or whatever, I think every effort should be made to mitigate those issues. I do think when you live in the country in an area that is developing quickly, I don't know that you can guarantee that you're never going to have a gravel pit near your house, or that you're never going to have a apartment development you don't want. Or, it's just a very fast-growing place with increasing demands on all sorts of things, including our natural resources. And so you're going to have situations where people aren't happy about certain things going in. And that's just the unfortunate cost of growth and living in an area where people want to move to. And it's just sort of now kind of a new facet of living in East Idaho.
Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of sympathy for the couple calling in.
Yes, absolutely.
But I would also say I don't get a decision on what my neighbor does either.
Yeah.
That is not unique to the couple that was calling in. If my neighbor decides to paint their house fuchsia pink and I don't live in an HOA, I don't get a choice with that.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess that's why we have courts to decide conflicts. And so we're going to take a break. We'll come back. More phone calls when we return on this Friday. It's 9:43. A call like that is really tough because two things: we aren't hearing the other side's perspective at the same time, and you and I don't know enough to really weigh in with We've learned a lot, but I feel like we're still very much amateurs when it comes to all the complexities around water in East Idaho.
Yeah, and I mean, if we go by what has been told to us, this is by far the best solution that they could have come up with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't ease that couple's pain.
No.
In any way.
Yeah.
But if it was the best solution to come up with, then you look at the solution and go, okay, should there be some sort of public notice that these are going in? So if they did want to sell their house, could they have sold it sooner?
Yeah.
Or if they did want to sell some property, could they have sold it sooner? This call had an interesting part to it that I haven't heard in other ones, which is I've held some private conversations with people who are involved with building these recharge areas. And basically what was told to me is there will be pain in the beginning, but after that, they actually keep the site very beautiful. And it's really awesome.
Right.
But she mentioned that they'll be crushing gravel for 30 years. Is that what she said?
10 more years.
Or 10 more years? Yeah. Okay, that's not what was told to me. So I don't know if that's unique to their situation. Because that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And this is the really hard, harsh question. When you bought the property and built there, did you have a guarantee that wouldn't be happening in your area?
Yeah.
And if the answer to that is no, you didn't have a guarantee, that's just part of the risk of buying property.
Also, I need to understand how things are zoned. So does this have to be zoned a certain way?
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the question. And I know that sounds harsh because but landscapes always are changing, and the financial, the social landscape, it's always going to change. And it's a tough thing though.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are certain things though. I guess, are there basic social contract expectations? And another instance that I can think of that's been pretty high profile, that's the meatpacking plant that's making the whole area stink.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have an expectation that you're not going to have to step out your door every day and smell that? You could argue, yeah, like you can't do things that are terribly disruptive.
Well,
so I don't know the answer. Like I sound like I'm contradicting myself because I don't know
the answer either. And there's some important things when it comes to with the way things are run. So like with the meatpacking thing, is there a responsibility with the sewer system and everything? Because maybe the meatpacking place is doing everything they're supposed to, but the sewer system is not up to a certain standard that can handle what goes down into the ground. So it might not. We might want to villainize the owner, I don't even know his name, of the meatpacking place, but is every other entity that has to work within this system doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Right. Yeah.
It's
a good question.
And that would be with the recharge areas is, I would say, are there very clear ideas of what's going to happen at this point? Like are there promises and guarantees that are made, or is it pretty kind of wide open? Because the wide open thing would probably concern me if I was a homeowner near one. Yeah. I would want guarantees of you're going to operate this way, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't have to provide those.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that ought to change, and I really believe this, one thing that ought to change is we should get credit for the recharge that happens when we fill up our canals in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing Brian Murdoch talked about was that they don't credit us, even though that's water, exactly like a recharge pond does when they fill up the canal system in East Idaho. There's a significant amount of water that just seeps through the ground and then goes down into the aquifer. Why are we not getting credit for that? That's a fight I think I'd take to the Supreme Court of Idaho and say, you know what? When we fill that up, we're meeting part of our obligation. Even though that water may be unintentionally leaking into the aquifer, it's still a benefit downstream. And I think that's a fight worth having. So 9:49 on News Talk 1079. 208-542-1079 is the number if you'd like to reach us on the program this morning. And, of course, this weekend you're going to want to be outside. I think it is going to warm up a little bit. I don't think we're going to hit 90 degrees this weekend, but should be good enough to get out there, lay down step one of your lawn program, and then when you're done with that, open up your calendar to April 26th and write down glow-in-the-dark petunias at Town and Country Gardens.
Yeah, if you want more information about the glow-in-the-dark petunias, it's super easy to get the information. It's right there on the front page of mygardengeek.com. That's mygardengeek.com. There, on that front page, they're going to tell you everything that's going on at that event. You've got, there's like food. It's going to be like a party atmosphere. You could even get one of the VIP tickets by signing up for the newsletter. You like enter into a drawing by doing that, which would be fun because there's not a unlimited supply of these petunias. There's only a certain amount coming in.
Yeah.
And so you're going to want to know what's going on at this event on the 26th before you go on down there.
Food trucks, music, like it's going to be a big deal.
It's going to be fun.
And then, of course, the star of the show will be the glow-in-the-dark petunias that you can check out.
Yeah. So definitely go to mygardengeek.com. And then so many other things at Town and Country Gardens. You've got your seeds, like the 4-step lawn program that Neal mentioned. You have bushes and shrubs and trees and mulch and hanging baskets that are probably just starting to kind of come on board there at Town and Country because we're getting warm enough. Yeah.
Also, make sure, Julie just mentioned seeds, go by the seed rack because, when the weather just hits just right, Don't wait until it's perfect, because that's when everybody's going to go.
Yeah.
Get your seeds before the rush.
There you go.
You will not, although us by saying that is going to create a rush.
It will.
It's okay. MyGardenGeek.com.
MyGardenGeek.com, and Town and Country Gardens is located south of Idaho Falls on the Yellowstone Highway.
All right, 9:52. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and then we will have our wrap-up segment, final segment this morning after this on News Talk 107.9. All right, do you have a Timberline? Little aside conversation there.
Am I doing that? Do you want me to pull it?
If you want. It's we got plenty of time.
Oh, Lisa just said on Facebook, she must be back up in Island Park.
Oh, yeah?
Or maybe someone sent it to her. She might be looking on a cam, like a highway cam. But she said, just saw the gates on the west entrance to the park. Miles of cars already.
Oh.
She says, ugh, it begins.
Really?
Yeah.
I check those webcams. Yeah, there are a few. There's still a lot of snow, though, like big piles of snow on the side. The pavement's dry, but
I didn't go into Grand Canyon, but I drove through the areas near the entrances to the Grand Canyon going to Arizona.
Yeah, how was that?
It was busy.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those little cities were busy.
So I'm trying to think. You went through Page, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's that mountain pass that comes down with the Vermilion Cliffs off
Yes,
to the...
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, And then you go, what is the little town? It's not even a town. There's a few truck stops there where you'd turn right to go to Grant. What is that place called?
Yeah.
9:55 on News Talk 107.9. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason.
All right, let's chat about your sleep quality. And you might be one of those Americans who don't sleep in their beds. You just get better sleep on a couch or in a recliner, and you just give it up, and that's where you go. And good sleep is important. Well, guess what? There isn't a give up, because Timberline Home in Idaho Falls carries a special brand of recliners called Z-Cliners. And these are recliners that are designed to be slept in. So if you don't enjoy sleeping in a bed, this is your solution. They have multiple heat, massage, and recline options. There's also an option for zero gravity. So that is the ability to increase the circulation in your legs, maybe help with restless leg syndrome, or just feeling better, more well-rested after a night's sleep. There is another huge perk. They're made with fabric on the Z-Cliners that are infused with minerals to speed up your blood flow by up to 30%, and they have the scientific studies to back that. So make sure you ask about that when you visit Timberline Home at 711 East Anderson in Idaho Falls. And a side note, you can save an additional $300 on the Z-Cliner right now, but that's not forever. That's a limited time. So if you're looking for that good quality sleep and you are that person who prefers to not sleep in a bed, make sure you get down to 711 East Anderson in Idaho Falls, or you can go to shoptimberline.com.
So, Julie, we on Monday, we, of course, had millionaire Bernie Sanders and millionaire AOC at the Fight Oligarchy tour.
Okay.
You had a number of Democrat members of the Idaho legislature. I'm wondering, I might start scouring some social media. I'm wondering if you had particular Republican members of the legislature who wanted to be there and possibly were there.
Maybe they're incognito?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they are. Look, people are going to misread what I'm saying. Like I have special knowledge or inside information. I don't know that any of them were there. But I can say with near certainty, there are a handful that probably longingly wished they could politically safely go there, but probably did not.
You know, it's interesting. I will say this. I pulled up Todd Akili's Facebook profile today. So Democrat from the west side of the state who was all on board and using the veterans to help get ranked choice voting passed. I remember, just to bring to memory to the East Idahoans who Todd Akilis is. I don't know why I looked today, but down in the corner I could see who our mutual friends were.
Yeah.
It was two people in Idaho politics that I clearly don't align with. But they call themselves Republicans. And I'm like, imagine that? Imagine that those are the two common friends that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've friend requested Todd Achilles or not. I don't think I have.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should.
Yeah. I think I friend requested him because we were trying to get him to do an interview, and he declined every time.
He declined your friend request too?
No, he declined the interviews every time.
All right. See you Monday. Have a good weekend.